Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Mr. Marty Show. Oh, welcome to the show, my friends. Glad to see you again. Welcome, welcome. Singing about Martin, the man who had a dream, and he walked around sharing that dream, till one day they caught him down. They thought they could take it away, but he said it's up to you and I. He believes we can win the day. Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King. Oh, what a great man. Of him we will sing. Yeah, we have a responsibility to take what he has started, show everyone that their dream has not departed. On the Mr. Marty Show, Mr. Marty Show. On the Mr. Marty Show, Mr. Marty Show. Live action, always on the Mr. Marty Show. Live action on the Mr. Marty Show.
When they lowered the door, you splashed toward the shore. You knew they were waiting for you. What went through your mind? What thoughts did you find as above you the bullets flew? All the great words that you have heard, that one so grand were cloudy with doubt through the screams and the shouts as you pressed your face to the sand. Still, if not you, then you wondered who would be there to take your place. And deep in your heart, you do your part to spare some future face. I hope this all is worth it, you muttered as you staggered to your feet, with your gun in your pack, under attack for the neighbor on your street. Give me liberty or give me death, never more's true. And you gave your liberty with a final breath as bullets tore through you. Polished marble gravestone in a polished marble sea. You did your part, will we do ours for the gift of liberty? A polished marble gravestone in a polished marble sea. You did your part, will we do ours for the gift of liberty?
Hello folks, Polly Chase here. You looking for a way to beat the winter blues? Order a new tote bag from martinmccormick.com and it'll warm your days right up. This is the image for Centurions. And you can get your very own Miss Rex Zoo CD, all on martinmccormick.com. Thanks for watching.
Hi, Mr. Marty fans. Ma Gilmore here. Today we're talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I wondered what I could say about this man. For when he gave the speech, I was only 13 years old. I had gone next door to my neighbors who always had the news on, and I caught "I Have a Dream." But what impressed me most was the reporters who had the camera going down the mall so you could see the throngs of people. And I found out later that they had only expected 100,000 people, or maybe less. But what they got was over 250,000 people to hear this man's speech. Well, I also learned that he had said "I have a dream" in a couple of other speeches that he'd given prior to this one. And the people around him had encouraged him not to use that phrase again because he had used it. But it was the gospel singer, Mahalia Jackson, who came to him and said, "You have to use 'I have a dream.'" Well, that resonates to so many people. And I heard in this speech, peace, liberty, freedom for all. Well, in 1968, April of 1968, I was in Minot, North Dakota in the hospital on bed rest, giving birth to my first son a couple of months later, when we had the TV on, and on came the breaking news that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had been assassinated. It stunned me, but the first thing I thought of was, why? Why? What were they afraid of? He was a man who used his voice. What were they afraid of? After all these years, they may have killed the man, but they didn't kill his dream. The dream of peace, the dream of liberty, the dream of freedom for all. And we carry it on today. And I think in that little 13-year-old girl that I caught on that gift of peace, of liberty, of freedom. I'm a staunch supporter of those rights to all. And as you know, I always wish you peace. But I'm also wishing you liberty and wishing you freedom. So, this has been Ma Gilmore. And again, I say to you, may there be peace in this world. And may it begin with me, and of course with you. But most of all, I wish you liberty. I wish you freedom for all. Ma Gilmore here.
Driving or working at your computer and looking for a podcast that's thought-provoking, fun, and musical? Strung Out is the Martin McCormack podcast that gives you a piece of his mind that will have you asking for more. Go to martinmccormack.com and click on the podcast link.
And now, 30 seconds of cue.
Hi, my name is Marcus Gentry. I greet you with greetings of respect. Welcome you to what we call a mindful moment. I've been struggling trying to think of how I can capture the essence of the man Martin Luther King Jr. in just a few moments. I do a production that's called I Have a Dream, A King's Journey. And I take my audience from his birth, January 15th, 1929, all the way to his assassination, April the 4th, 1968. What's unique about this is that, unlike most people's experience, they know he said the I Have a Dream speech, at least that's what it's called. They don't know what led up to it or about the beginning of his life. So I take the audience all the way back to the beginning. I talk about his parents, his relationship with his grandmother. Not only do I talk about the fact that he went to college at the age of 15, but how was he able to go to college at such a young age? And that he was not the only young person to go at that time. I talk about Benjamin Elijah Mays, who was one of his first mentors, and how he inspired him to follow the course of divinity like his parents. I talk about how he went to Crozier Seminary after he left Morehouse to get his degree in divinity. But that was when he really started hearing about the nonviolent movement. I share with the audience that it wasn't his original belief about the nonviolent movement. He had to listen and watch others practice that. I tell the audience about how the man that was called the Mahatma, who he followed his principles, he was shot and killed the same year Dr. King started learning about him. I talk about his marriage, their honeymoon. We discuss what else was happening in that year. Because, see, when we start talking about, as some people will do this month, some will celebrate his legacy, some will acknowledge it. We have to look at what that legacy really was. And there are many aspects of it. Even if we just pick one of courage. He was able to get courage and develop courage, which is an inside job, by the way, by experiencing and watching the courage of others, his parents, other leaders at Morehouse College, the leaders he met at Crozier Seminary. He watched the courage of a woman by the name of Mamie Till in the year of 1955, whose son was tortured and murdered in Mississippi. But the courage of that mother to bring her son back to Chicago, even after being warned to not open the casket, to open the casket anyway, because she wanted the world to see what had happened to her son. She had to have courage to do that. The story goes into that, and it's worth investigating. If you don't hear the story, look into that experience. If you don't see the production, look into that experience of the Mamie Till story. That inspired him. He says through life that helped him be motivated to do all that he did. That happened in 1955. The legacy of courage, the courage that he had to have in 1956 when his house was bombed with his wife and small child on the inside, the courage to continue going. The courage that he saw in the young girls that were arrested and went to jail because of refusing to give up their seat on the bus, which led to his boycott that he was a part of. That's a legacy of courage to follow. His house was bombed in 1956. How about the fact that he wrote a book about this? And on a book tour, he was stabbed by a woman who they say was mentally deranged. The courage to never press charges. The courage to go back out and continue doing the same thing. The courage to be a part of a march and go to jail and watch young children be attacked by dogs and water hoses. And the courage to continue. How about the courage just to go back and tell his wife that he wanted to continue on this same path? I wonder, what would you have done? The courage to speak out against the Vietnam War in the year of 1967, when so many people told him to not do that. They told him that was the wrong thing to do, and he did that, and he lost support of many people that he had close to him. The courage to continue. The courage to go to Memphis to help the sanitation workers when they needed help because they were being treated unfairly. It took courage because one of the times that he went, they were attacked while they were protesting non-violently. He watched so many things happen, and it took courage to continue doing what he was doing in spite of opposition from outsiders and from people inside of his own camp. If we talk about celebrating and acknowledging the legacy of this man, Martin Luther King Jr., and we think about his courage as one of the aspects of his legacy, we have to ask ourselves the question, do we have courage? Do we pick up that legacy of courage? Are we courageous today to follow our path, even when it gets a little difficult, to find our path and to pursue the things that make a difference? He was a part of something that was larger than himself. Do we have the courage to seek something similar? And if not, help someone else who's on that same path. My name is Marcus Gentry, and this has been just a snapshot of the life, the legacy of a very powerful man, Martin Luther King Jr., and this has been a mindful moment.
Freedom, such a beautiful word. Wonder a precious thing to live in liberty, such a precious dream for those who can only dream of freedom, of wanting to be free, freedom from fear of never being free, freedom to pray our way openly, freedom, freedom. There are those who say it cannot go away, but they are lying. They don't want to see freedom from wanting to be free, freedom from fear of never being free, freedom to pray our way openly, freedom, freedom, praying for freedom, freedom, telling you freedom, freedom, we need freedom, freedom.
Nice. Thanks for watching the show. 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 The Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. All right, Anya, sing it.
It's all about Martin Luther King. Everybody had a dream that we could live in peace. And where did he go down in history? On the Mr. Show. We live in life and grow.
The Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. Show, 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 Anya's first time playing the guitar on TV.